In this video we're going to talk about cells. One of the most important things you need to know about cells is that all living things are made up of cells. So if it doesn't have cells, that means it's not living. So for example, your rock would not be made up of cells because your rock is not living. Whereas your bacteria, your plants, your animals, they all are made up of cells because all of these would be living. Now you also need to know of two important terms. First one is called unicellular, the other one is multicellular. Unicellular comes from uni means one. So unicellular living things or organisms are basically living things that have one cell. So organisms that have only one cell. And a good example would be bacteria. So usually things which are unicellular are so small you can't see them with your naked eye. You need to have a very powerful microscope like the bacteria. Right, so that's unicellular. Whereas multicellular, multi just means many. So multicellular are organisms consisting of many cells. Good example would be plants, all animals are multicellular. So they would have many thousands, but usually many billions of cells. Right? So multicellular means that they have billions of cells. So remember, all living things have cells. They're all made up of cells. But there are unicellular living things which have only one cell. The bacteria would be an example. But most of the things that we see in our everyday life would be multicellular. These have many billions of cells. So for example, your plants and your animals. Now you need to also be aware that there are different types of cells. There's something called a plant cell. There's something called an animal cell. Now they have some similarities, and these similarities are here in blue. These three things, both the plant and the animal cell have. Whereas the plant cell also has chloroplast, vacuoles, and cell walls. So these three are plant only. Whereas the ones in blue are for both the plant and the animal cell. I'll quickly go for what each of these do. The cell membrane just allows basically things to go in and out of the cell. It's just a barrier to make sure that things are controlled, what goes in and out of the cells. Cytoplasm, which is just your liquidy, gel-like, gooey things inside the cell, because most of the cell is made up of water. Your nucleus, which are these black dots in the middle, this is your control center. So nucleus is your control center. It controls the cell, it controls what the cell does. Again, and remember these three, both plant and animal cells have. Cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus. Now, in this case, what the plants have, on top of what the animals have, something called chloroplasts. These are these green things. And these chloroplasts can be found only in the leaf cell of plants. But they're really important because these chloroplasts are what produces the sugar. Right? So all the light that goes onto plants goes into chloroplasts, and that helps the plant make sugars that it can use for food. And it will also provide us food as well. It also has these big vacuoles, which can be big air sacs. That's basically where the actual plant cell can store its energy, in these vacuoles, the storage sites. And it also has these cell walls. What these cell walls do is, it just gives it its structure. Right? Cell wall is just protection and structure. The chloroplast is really important for it to be able to make sugar, food. The vacuole is just for storage. Now right here we have an image of a plant cell under the microscope, and you can see a few things are really visible. So that pinkish part in the middle, that's going to be your nucleus. Remember, the nucleus is the control center of a cell. The parts around it, this right here, is your cell wall. Cell wall you can see with the microscope. Remember, that gives a structure. And all that in the middle is your gooey thing, which is called the cytoplasm. That's your liquid that each cell is made up of. So just be aware that plants and animal cells exist. They have similarities and they have some differences. And you need to know what an actual plant and animal cell looks under the microscope as well. Right? Just be aware of that as well.